Here we have 3/4 n equals negative 15, and we're trying to solve for n. Okay, I'm going to do this in 2 steps, and then I'm going to do it in 1 step. So here's the 2 steps method. Let's see here. So we want to get n by itself. Okay, we're trying to isolate n. So first I'm going to deal with this 4. And to deal with that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Okay, and then doing that on the left side cancels out, and we're left with 3n equals negative 60. Okay, and just as a side note, when I do that in practice, so we have 3/4 n equals negative 15, really in practice, you're just bringing this denominator up to the other side, right? 3n equals negative 60. Mathematically, we're multiplying both sides by 4. Intuitively, you just take that denominator, bring it up to the other side, and multiply. Okay, continuing here, we're still trying to get this n by itself. Now we have 3n, so now I'm going to divide both sides by 3, leaving us with n equals negative 20. Okay, so there's the 2-step version. Let's try doing this in 1 step. Okay, 1 step. Alright, so once you're good at 2 steps, you can do the same thing with 1 step. Let's do the same problem here. 3/4 n equals negative 15. Okay, so what you do is we have a 3/4 multiplying the n here. I'm going to take the reciprocal of that. The reciprocal means you just flip the numerator and denominator. So the reciprocal is 4/3, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/3. Okay, there we go. 1 step, 4/3. Okay, look what happens on the left. Every single thing cancels out, and we're left with just n. On the right, let's see what happens here. We have 15 and the 3 canceling to leave a 5. Okay, so then we're just left with n equals, we have negative 5 times 4, which is negative 20. There we go. 1 step, and the problem is finished. So kind of up to you how you do this. Maybe you want to even switch off between the two. You should be able to do both methods. But that's kind of how you proceed with these problems. Let's try another one. Okay, here we have 1/8 v equals 1/4. We're trying to isolate v here. We're solving for v. So let's take this 8 in the denominator and move it up to the other side. Really, mathematically, we're multiplying both sides by 8. Intuitively, you take that denominator, bring it up to the other side. What does that leave us with? Well, 1v equals 1/4 times 8. Well, okay, the 4 and the 8 divide. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that leaves us with v equals 2. Alright, a slightly different way to look at this. Really, both of these are 1 step, but you could look at this as 1/8 v equals 1/4, and then multiply by the reciprocal of 1/8. That would be 8 over 1. 8 over 1. Alright, everything on the left side cancels, leaving us with the v. Then over here we have 8 divided by 4. Those cancel, leaving a 2. So v equals 2. Same thing, of course. Let's try another one. Here we have d divided by 15 equals 2. Okay, well, same idea. We're solving for d. I'm going to take this denominator and bring it up to the other side. Mathematically, we're multiplying both sides, but intuitively, that's what we do. All right, so that gives us d equals 2 times 15, which is 30. All right, another way to look at that, d over 15 is actually d. Well, it's 1/15 times d. All right, slightly different way of looking at this problem. It's 12 equals 2, and then we could multiply by the reciprocal. 15 over 1 here, 15 over 1. All right, that gives us d equals 30. right? You want to have different tools in your toolbox. So different ways of looking at the same problem is a skill you want to acquire as you go through these kinds of problems and you go through algebra. You develop a bunch of different ways to look at all these individual problems. Let's try another one. Okay, we have negative 3/4 x equals 9. All right, we're solving for x here, so let's do this first in 2 steps, and then I'll show you the 1-step method. Okay, so 2 steps. Let's see, you take the denominator, multiply up first, right? So I'm multiplying up by this 4. This gives us negative 3x equals 9 times 4, 36. All right, we're still trying to solve for x here, so now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. This gives us x equals negative 36 divided by negative 3, negative 12. Okay, so 2 steps, not the end of the world, but you may want to do this in 1 step, so let's try it. Rewriting the same problem, negative 3/4 x equals 9. All right, now I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So, and I'm going to do a negative in there as well, so negative 4/3. Okay, so I'm multiplying all this. So see how I flipped the numerator and denominator? And you need to do the same thing on both sides, right? You have to be fair here. You can't just do something to one side of the equality without doing it to the other side. Okay, let's see here. Everything on the left side cancels, leaving us just with the x. On the right side we have, all right, well the 9 and the 3 cancel. That leaves us with a 3 here. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. There we go. Same answer, 1 step, a little more thought. 2 steps, a little bit simpler, but you do have to take 2 steps.